Welcome to the Basket Buds edition of the Athletic NBA Show podcast on the Athletic Podcast Network. I'm your host, Zach Harper. Today, we got Trevon Edwards, we got Modak Gill, we got Dave DeFore producing. We might have Jay King at some point. We don't know if he woke up yet after a embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. I mean, never again, Sixers. Never again. I don't care if you're 82-0 next year. We're not buying it. You got to prove it. My goodness. We got a lot to get to today. And, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I want to make sure we get to everything. Just so you know, we're not doing the John Morant discussion today. Okay. We had it listen to the show 2 months ago. We did it. It's the same shit. Okay. Just update. He got suspended from off-season team activities, which doesn't mean anything.
There isn't any. There isn't any.
What? If they have a workout or if they have a community service that he doesn't get to go to that, okay.
Oh, he's not going to the draft party.
Yeah, he's not going to represent them at the lottery. Oh wait, they don't have a pick in the lottery. It doesn't matter. We're not doing that discussion. There's plenty of good things out there. I don't want to have it. In terms of the Sixers, dude, even Sixers fans I saw on Twitter were like, okay, we can't anymore. Embiid, get your shit together. Harden, we've been knowing about this. The James Harden, this isn't anything new. It's the same thing he did in elimination games in Houston. It's the same thing he's going to do in elimination games in the future. He just doesn't like that.
In Houston?
In Houston again, back in Houston again, which is still such a weird rumor, but now I'm starting to believe it. Look, man, he doesn't want those games. He doesn't want those moments. There's a buffet of options of when he's failed in those moments. He doesn't want that. I think I'm most Doc Rivers, 6-10 now in game sevens, which I don't know if that is a fair record to go after, because a game seven, it's a coin flip. It's tough.
Okay. Can the fair record be 16-33 in closeout games?
Now that's a record I'm into. That's a record I'm into.
Now
yeah.
That's and for context, and I'm stealing this from Mike Prada, Pop is 33-14. I've lost my voice. And Eric Spoelstra 21-11 in closeout games.
And Doc is 16-33. You said? Yeah,
he's well below 500.
Wait, shit, he's well below 400. If I do my math correctly on that one, look. I think losses happen. Boston's a better team. They're in Boston. I don't. It's not that they lost. This shit was 55-55 in the third quarter, and then all of a sudden, it was 80 or 85-60 or 88-60 or something like that. It was insane. What Zach, a collapse,
Zach. It was so bad the social media manager never tweeted again.
That's when
that's crazy. Everybody quiet quit on that. It was just wow, this is a crazy differential. I think Tatum had 418 or something I was like, he's going to get 40 tonight. It's just going to happen. And then he just kept making shots and kept making shots and kept making shots. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, this is getting away. No, yeah, this is getting away. But I couldn't really, I still find it hard. Doc Rivers is obviously the easy punch,
right?
Punching back. You know what I mean? But there still has to be effort. I chose the bad idea of going on Facebook and talking about Joel's small tear in his knee.
Uh-huh. You go on Facebook? Facebook still?
I'm still on Facebook, right? Wow. And somebody who I respect was like, stop making excuses for the players. He's right.
Yeah.
You go out there and play, you perform. That was not MVP level basketball. We watched him just throw up stuff. We watched him miss free throws. We watched James Harden have 6 points at one point in time. The effort was not there. This was a team of the Bart gift where he dumps the cake into the trash can and says, at least you tried. You know what I mean? Philly fans are just as passionate as Boston fans. They deserve a competitive team. These guys are and
I'll say they're
Embiid
frauds. They're frauds.
They are frauds for one. But then Embiid has the audacity.
Dude, Trey, that's what
Go
I
for
wanted
it.
to
Go
do.
for it. Go for it. I just set you up. I'll teach you up.
The fucking audacity to say James and I can't do it on our own. I know. I just watched you shit yourself for 2 hours. I just watched him shit himself for 2 hours. I know you guys can't do it alone because you've never done it. You can't.
I wouldn't even talk about that part.
Well, PJ Tucker scores 11 points in the first quarter. Doesn't score again the rest of the game, but what he gave you 11 points. That's more than he ever gives you. Tobias Harris had a game. Tyrese Maxey was fine.
But look how they look
sucked.
Look how they look at their teammates.
Dude.
That is your star player.
Yeah.
That is I don't know if it's the leader. I don't even know who. PJ Tucker might be the leader.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're basically saying these other guys don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Or what do you expect? Even Dame chimed in and was like, what? Hold on. Maybe I don't want to get traded here. I don't want to play with these type of guys if we're not going to, understand the importance of role guys and how important they are to the success of a team.
Yep.
I know we, as fans of basketball, like to say one player is the greatest and this player is the greatest, but they don't get their ultimate goal without the surrounding teammates.
Right.
There's no Michael Jordan without a Will Purdue, a BJ Armstrong, a John Paxson, a Steve Kerr, a Judd Buechler, a Luke Longley. You can go down the line. There's no LeBron James without a, well, in this case, Shane Battier. Nah, I can't go. I
was going to go Boobie Gibson.
But I'm just saying, like certain guys that were able to attain Damon Jones, etc. Like whether they played small roles or big roles, they're important to your journey of winning the ultimate championship, right? The championship that you've tried to do. So that says alone that this person, Embiid, had an individual goal set for himself to win MVP, right? In order for you to win MVP, your teammates have to get you the ball. In order for you to win MVP, you have to win basketball games, which are helped by your teammates. James bought you a Rolex. You probably would have left James out of that situation if he ain't buy you your first Rolex.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So in this particular situation, Philly has a problem. Management, everybody's going to have to look into the mirror, and I get it, and say, hey, this is not, because what I'm reading on the internet, let's trade everybody but Embiid. Then I'm seeing nobody's looking at Embiid and holding accountability.
Yeah.
We'd be, if it was Jokic getting torched by Tatum, we would be running him out of the league at that point. But this game, Zach.
Hold on. The internet would not be running Jokic out of the league. We know that. We know the internet.
That's true. That's
fair
true.
enough. Fair enough.
No, but at the beginning of the season, remember the beginning of the season, Trey, this is stuck in my head, is you said we need to hold Jokic to the same playoff standards as Embiid, right? And you were right. Yes. You were right. We still do. If they get blown out by the Lakers for some reason, that's another failure and this time no excuses, right? Or at least I don't think so. But the point was look, we hold these stars to a certain standard, and it needs to be across the board, and it was correct. And Embiid has now gone back under that standard once again. Yeah. It's just there's a tear. Yeah, he was sick one time. Yeah, one time he had his face broken. Yeah, one time this, one time that, one time this, one time that, and it's but every time he comes up short.
Yeah, and that's going to be the standard. At this point, there's nothing. If you either win or you don't.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't care who they're going to put next to him, because again, how bad do you want it? Do you want to be the most dominant? I got a chance to watch Jokic this season in game 3 against Phoenix. I don't care who was out there. That triple-double looked
buckets
effortlessly.
Ridiculous.
So I'm looking at it now, okay, Lakers fans, AD should have been on the all-defensive team. Now make your claim. Now make your claim, because you're gonna get this man, and this man is a bad man.
But before we go there, you have to understand this game was lost for the Sixers before it even fucking started. With the tweet from Woj, which was obviously leaked from somebody with high up within the Sixers about all the referees fucked up calls in Game 6, and then Doc in his pregame press conference at Game 7 saying we won analytically Game 6
by 20.
By 20, by 20. By 20. Like, you're about to coach Game 7, literally in like an hour, and this is what you're focused on.
Hey, man, he's finally aligned with Daryl Morey. That's some Daryl Morey shit to say.
Well, him trying to maybe save his job because he knew this was coming. But more importantly, like, you fucking lost already. Like, I knew at that point, I said, this game's over.
Dude, I know they lost the game. Game 6, they lost. They like that. Game 6, they scored 3 points. 3 in the final 6 minutes.
It's ridiculous.
Two of them were Jaden Springer in garbage time.
Right. No,
you're at home. You got a chance to put the Celtics away. Once that, I was like, yo, they're getting cooked in Game 7. I knew they were getting cooked. I was actually surprised it was close in the first half. I thought they'd come out and just wet themselves constantly.
And they got what they needed from PJ Tucker and all the other role players.
Yeah.
Everything you guys
Everyone
said.
else was cool.
It's those guys. James Harden passing out obvious layups. He had obvious layups and just threw it out.
I even saw some Rockets fans go on, we apologize. Like, not all of them, but I even saw Rockets fans on Twitter like, yeah, that was our bad.
We should have warned you.
We shouldn't have done no, we shouldn't have like pretended that this wasn't anything but it was. But it's like, look, man, kind of getting back to the whole like Embiid thing. It's like Wesley Snipes said, white men can't jump. You either smoke or you get smoked, and he got smoked. And this is it. Like, and it's every year. And next year we're gonna come back again. He's gonna be awesome in the regular season. We're like, hey, maybe this is the year the Sixers do it. No, the Sixers ain't doing shit. They're just not. Like, you need an exorcism. You need hypnotism. I don't know. You need something. You need someism that's gonna get you over the top. I don't know what that is.
I don't even know what the team's gonna look like when they come back.
Right.
That's the real question.
I mean, I wouldn't trade Embiid, but like, everybody else, I don't know. You know what? It might even be worth like, blow it up, get everyone new around him. Say, okay, you can't do it on your own. You didn't like these teammates. Here's a whole new team. Figure that out. Show me that you're the guy and that this was their fault.
It'll also be nice to have them not chase a MVP trophy all regular season.
You think he's not chasing that shit for back-to-back years?
He better not. Get out of here. He better not at this point,
man. Come on, man.
Better not.
Come on. Those comments to Shams like early, like what was it, 2 months ago or whatever that was, man, that shit's all bullshit. Of course you won the MVP. You don't care about it anymore. Get out of here with that.
Ridiculous.
He's gonna care about it next year. Absolutely.
It's ridiculous.
Absolutely. His teammate was the guy who cared about it every year over everything else.
Oh, but I mean, but what I also mean is the front office constantly pushing.
Oh, no.
And Daryl's going to keep doing it, but like.
Dude, Daryl Morey's been doing this shit forever.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Maybe the focus should be that energy should be towards fucking winning a championship instead of winning your guy an MVP. Like, maybe that should be the energy.
No. Because it's always the easy out of like, well, at least we had the MVP. Right. And the refs. Oh, blame the refs. Like, that's what
Again, he does it all. The Rockets fucking audit, the Sixers audit, like all of this bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the refs. What was lost in this shitting on the Sixers here, they deserved it. Jason Tatum, 51. Like,
fucking unbelievable.
Oh my god, dude, I'm glad because I thought he was bad in that series up until like the last
3 minutes.
I guess 6 minutes. Yeah, 6 minutes in Game 6.
To be fair, it's a make or miss league, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have some struggles. He struggled majority of the series, right? We knew that he wasn't just going to just boot all the way out.
Yeah.
He was due a game. It was going to happen. You know what I mean? Jaylen Brown had been carrying his team pretty much throughout the series. And eventually he was going to find a rhythm. I didn't love the idea that Joe Mazzulla was like, pulled him to the side and said, go get the effing ball. You know what I mean?
Okay, get out of here.
Joe's
right.
I'm not even sure he's coaching the team. You see it in the huddles. It's Al Horford. It's Marcus Smart. Like, I'm not even sure he's on.
So I didn't want to give him that the night he struggled and had 16 in the fourth quarter. I didn't want to give Mazzulla that much credit, right? This is a very seasoned talented team that runs like a well-oiled machine. They know how to police themselves. They have no tolerance. They don't let any goofy stuff. They don't even pay attention to the whole Brown's better. You know, this reminds me of the Steph KD thing at this point now, where the fan base and NBA Twitter are now trying to split these two up. They've been trying to do it for so long, but these two find a way to succeed every year and overachieve, and they're gonna find themselves back in the finals again. I don't see anybody beating them. Look, shout outs to Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler's going to have an exceptional series, but they don't have Tyler Herro. And I think this is where Tyler Herro would have been a huge, make a huge impact in this series against the Celtics. I think Jason Tatum is going to have a great series. Like how he made that look to close it out. Top five this season.
Guys,
go for it. I was waiting on it.
Do not underestimate heat culture. We know why J. King's not here today. Okay?
Hey, White's heat. That's what they got on the shirts. I felt the way about that, but
I was gonna say, like, that sounds too.
That's
maybe not.
Let's just stick with heat culture, guys. Let's just stick with heat culture. Let's not white heat.
Like they didn't have to. They could have just said heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But white heat? Yeah. What's white heat?
White heat is, well, I could.
Well, let's leave it alone. That's
a whole other podcast.
Hey, they got too hyped about Duncan and Max. You see Max Strus and
Kevin Love came in.
That's all it took.
Tyler Herro. We'll be back, baby.
You know what's crazy? The Miami Heat are holding it down for the white players. I'm not gonna lie. They putting out effective white players on the court. Yeah. And they're doing it.
They're getting white players paid. Like that's what they're doing. They're like, they got Duncan paid. Max is about to get paid. Who knows? Kevin Love might not get another good contract. Tyler Herro got paid. Like you know, if anything, Jay King should be in on that. But
look, Jimmy's listening to country music in the locker room.
He's been listening to country music. Like, Jimmy loves country music. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. So it's the culture. White heat culture. I love it.
We all know that Jay King's a coward and that he is afraid of the heat. There's a clip of him from Thursday's Point of Contention where he says he bows down to the heat. And he's not going to doubt Eric Spoelstra or anything. I do think Eric Spoelstra has something here in this series for the Celtics. Now, the Celtics have a talent advantage, big time, right? That is a much more talented team, but still were the Bucks. You know, like the Bucks seemed unbeatable, and then what happened? Like, yeah, there was a Giannis injury, but he was back, and they still smoked his ass. Like,
they still should have won without Giannis. I'm tired. That's bullshit. Like,
yeah, I mean, yeah, they should have. They absolutely should have. Saw what happened in Game 2 of that series. Yeah. Like, they kicked their ass. Like, it should have been more of that. But I do think like the biggest nightmare we have as an NBA is a Miami-Denver finals. That is. I don't believe in conspiracy theories. I don't believe in the league getting in the way. I do think something's going to happen here. I do think that, like, there's not a chance in hell we're getting Miami and Denver.
If it was a David Stern run league,
there'd be a lead pipe to Jimmy Butler's knee right now.
Adam Silver is not doing it.
I don't know.
No. He's too nice. We have a history of it. He's too nice. He's just going to be like, oh, shucks. Type of
calling the righty out of the bullpen. You call in Scott Foster and you just say, all right, Scott, go to work. This is what you need to do.
But can we just talk about this Boston-Miami series? Because, Zach, you're 100% right. Absolutely. The talent, this advantage is all in Boston's favor for the most part. And I just look at this team for no other reason than going like, they're going to lose to the Heat. You can talk about how Jason Tatum finished this series and all that stuff. Every time we think this Celtics team is taking a step forward, they fuck around and
because this is a team that should have just rolled through these two series, right?
But
they also won. So like they did end up winning. I mean, I'm not making this comparison like a 1-to-1. I'm just saying the mentality of it, and it's not the same thing. But like for years, like, you know, Shaq and Kobe didn't take the most like most of their matchups all that seriously in the playoffs, and they still rolled through. Like there might be a point where they're just like, we know it's going to swing in our favor at this point.
Right. Well, it's the fuck around, find out part, right? Like they've been fucking around for 2 series, almost found out in the last series. Might happen again. But my other thing too, just the one thing I'd say is I think this Heat team is just tougher. Just a tougher team than the Celtics team.
They're also good. Like they're good.
They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
I will. Let's see how their shooting holds up with everything like that. Spo's an evil genius, but like I just look at the toughness factor, and I just feel like they're going to beat the shit out of these guys physically. And I think it's going to be a long series, but I think the Heat are actually going to win. Like the more I look at it, like the Heat are going to the finals.
I mean, don't let that happen. I'm just telling you, don't let that.
Like, I don't want a podcast with you if that
for the
happens.
good of the podcast. Like, I don't even want this to happen. Okay, like I'm rooting for the Celtics in this one because if the Heat beat Boston again, like are we going to call
Jay King during the Boston press conference?
Call
again?
Fucking Brad Stevens during the press conference. I do think this is probably. I think I haven't looked at any like predictions or like the betting lines or anything like that. I do think I'm guessing Boston is heavily favored, and I think a big chunk of that is that 8 next to the Miami Heat's name. But if you look at it like Trey, this Heat team, granted, they underperformed all season long. Like they really did.
But first of all,
it was the 1 seed last year, and it's pretty much the same team. It's just PJ's gone. Yeah. Like, but it's pretty much the same. I mean, I know Tyler's hurt right now too, but like it's pretty much the same team.
Yeah. I mean, like it's like I said, it's hard to doubt LeBron and it's hard to doubt Spo.
Mm-hmm.
These are 2 people that you have to respect in this game because not only they're unpredictable, but it's hard to count them out because they've delivered with their back against the wall so much. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it really counts. Like if LeBron gets there, LeBron's gonna probably get a chance to probably finish the job, right?
Right.
If Spo gets there, if Spo's even put in the Eastern Conference final situation, most likely he's going to figure a way to come out top. Now, do I like Spo coaching against Joe Mazzulla? Yeah, I'm gonna take that chance. But the way I think Jason Tatum is going to break out. I just feel it. Like I just don't see. I think that right now the Heat are riding heavy. Jimmy's that Camry that you had since high school, and since high school, and now you're in your 2nd year of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Old Faithful. How long can we have this Old Faithful? Because at the end of the day, he's got you through good, bad. He's going to defend. He's going to score. You know, he's not going to complain. He's just going to show up. But when them shots not falling,
you're
looking at Kevin Love and you looking at Gabe Vincent and you looking at these other people, and it's like Jimmy gave his all.
Yeah, like so the Celtics are -500 to win this series on BetMGM. I do I think Butler can shut down Tatum for the series, but then he won't have I don't know if he'll have anything offensively.
On the other end.
And
offensively.
There is
that's the trade-off.
Yeah, like he's a badass, but like there is only so much you can ask him to do with that. Like this is gonna have to be Spo wins it schematically. Right, Spo just completely outcoaches Joe Mazzulla, and at the same time, like you get a little help from something. But I do think it's I think it's possible. I think -500 is disrespectful to the Heat.
Oh,
that's a big number, man.
That's a big number, and I think that's wild in that sense. And you guys are right; it's going to require a lot from Jimmy Butler to have to do all of that stuff. And then just remember, last year they had PJ Tucker. That was a big difference for them defensively in that team for the Heat to force us to 7 games. I just don't trust the Celtics team to not act like assholes and below 2 games just because they're bored. And I mean, I'm sorry, the Hawks series should have never gone 6 games, let alone 5.
Yeah.
I mean, I said it from the beginning of this Philly series. They were the more talented team against the Sixers team. They blew game 1 because no Embiid. They stupidly game 5, just the way they end game 5 is just dumb. Like I don't trust this team to be smart in that way and calculated in that sense. And I'm just going to roll through maximum chaos and go with the Miami Heat again. Like, this is just, I don't trust this team.
Let's go over to the Western Conference where the Golden State Warriors' anemic title defense is finally over. They've finally been put out of their misery. I mean, look, we can be honest, like, they got their ass kicked in the series.
Oh, yeah.
They got completely dominated. And it's not so much like how it happened. We know Jordan Poole sucked. Klay Thompson was terrible. They didn't have enough around Steph. And even then, Steph didn't fully do enough. And maybe that's not fair, but whatever. You're the star. Like, we got to keep it even across the board, right? Like, there were times he could have been better, and he wasn't. This Lakers team was just better. But for me, it's more about, like, what's next, right? Like, they said all the right things. Draymond wants to be here forever. He wants to play with his guys forever and all this stuff. Okay, great. But what happens if Joe Lacob's like, yeah, for sure. Like, here's 4 years, $100 million. Like, is he taking that or is he taking a max? Like, what is Klay Thompson, who makes like 43 next year or something like that? He's up for an extension. Is he actually going to take the Andrew Wiggins like pay cut on the extension?
Right.
Like, everyone's saying the right things, but how do you get Jordan Poole back to being a good player? And
was he before?
He was meaningful in their playoff run.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't fucking 0 points every game. Like, he was solid. Like, if you get that out of him for the money you're paying him, like, how do you get him to that point? How do you get their team chemistry back? How do you get Jonathan Kuminga on the floor? How do you get Moses Moody on the floor throughout the season? How do you like get this team to be deeper with, bargain bin guys who are hopefully chasing a ring? Are they going to chase a ring with the Warriors, or is that completely out the window? Like, I just don't know. Everything sounds great in that press conference, but when we get down to the money always wins.
Always wins. And we have to just remember the new CBA, the second apron, all of that stuff it's very punitive. But I think the most important guy we got to look at, the first domino to fall, is Bob Myers. Is he going to be back? Like, it will be very interesting to see if Bob Myers can come to an agreement and kind of extend his deal and be there much longer as team president. And if that's the case, then I could see a situation where everybody's coming back. They'll find a way to pull it all together and go forward again. But if he's gone, I think that's the first domino where I'm like, well, at least one of Dre or Klay is not coming back. Like, I could see that genuinely being a thing, because I think he would be the guy to bring it together. And that's the first piece I'm watching for.
What do you think? Like, we've made the Draymond jokes all year of like, he's going to be a Laker. He's going to be a Laker. He's going to be a Laker, right? Is he going to be a Laker?
I don't think he's going to be a Laker at all.
Do you think he sticks around with the Warriors?
You know where I think he ends up? Phoenix.
Phoenix. That's what I was going to think. His teammate, Matt Ishbia.
That's true. Yeah, that's his guy, right?
I mean,
it's a little late. It's like 12 years before he was there.
But I'm just saying, at this point, he wants to get paid. That's the main thing. He wants to get paid. I mean, I understand the bromance between him and Bron. I joked around like, this is his, LeBron's his dream friend. I don't believe he played a double agent. I don't believe that.
Hold on, Trey. I'm so sorry to cut you
Jesus
off.
Christ.
Jay, put a fucking shirt on. You show up 30 minutes late to this podcast, 40 minutes late to this podcast, and you're shirtless?
I'm Jimmy Butler.
You're not. Go put a shirt on.
Put on a goddamn shirt on.
I'm not looking
Jimmy
at this.
Butthead. More like
All right.
Jimmy Butthead.
Are you drunk? What the fuck, Jay?
He's South Beach ready.
Oh, yeah.
just
Is this what
woke
it
up.
is? You finally get to
just
go to
woke
Miami?
up.
It's noon.
Hey.
It's noon where you are.
Just
I
make
woke
sure.
up earlier and then I fell back asleep. Man, I haven't gotten a lot of sleep lately. I don't.
Hey, just make sure
Okay.
you
A lot of work.
Just put some suntan lotion on, man. I don't want to see your little red skin.
It's a lot of we don't need to see Lobster J. We don't need to see Maine Lobster J. This is not what we need.
This is
Also,
you guys-
it's a lot of work. Yeah, try to cover the whole fucking league. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, this is a lot
This
of work.
this better go on YouTube.
I know this is
man.
going on YouTube, Dave. That's why I
This
came
man-
up with
this-
no
put a
shirt.
shirt
Hey,
on.
this man
trying
has
to
a
be
this
funny.
man has a backwards hat on
Backwards hat.
with
He
no
could-
shirt on,
He
bro.
could not be more Cape Cod right now. Like
I
this
do
dude
not
is-
want. I do
They
not
call me
want to
Jimmy
see the.
Butthead.
I do not want to see the shorts he's wearing, but I get it.
No.
Oh,
No.
Oh, the reactions is so good. But yeah, man, I see this team. First of all, we talking about Draymond. We need to worry about Clay. They're gonna have to ask Clay.
Bad, dude.
For
Clay
one,
was
they're gonna
bad.
have to ask Clay to come off the bench. That's the start.
Yeah.
Secondly, they got to ask Clay to take a pay cut.
Yeah.
It's
Big
not
time.
happening. It's not happening.
He's got to be in like the 20 to 25 range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all these guys feel like they're above the business side of it. We're a family. They're on the Dominic Toretto type stuff.
Your
Like,
go-to shirt was a polo?
I knew Zach was going to
This is
say
the shirt.
something.
This is the shirt I had on yesterday.
That's even worse. But look, look, guys, the Warriors have their hands full. I wouldn't be surprised if Steph got these guys to return and they surrounded themselves with some other players. Or we could shake things up and it'd be the death of a dynasty. It'd be a great storyline for LeBron to say that he ended another dynasty or something like that, or being funny, right? But I see Clay being out and I see Dre being out.
And then
Because-
what do they have after that?
Yeah,
Well, it's
that-
not even about that. I think it's just you have to look at it and say, well, Steph, we're going to do what it takes to bring the best guys for you. And we see guys like Chris Middleton next to it. You know what I mean? Like, and we see guys like where it looks like NBA 2K year 2028
Yes.
in a,
You're just
in,
like,
a, in a simulated season.
Yeah.
Like Steph's playing with these guys now.
yeah.
That's why.
Like, why is Mozgov back? This is
Well, dang.
Josh McRoberts got signed with the Warriors.
But see, I think they should just bring back all the main pieces.
At the money it's going to take with the new
Yeah.
CBA.
See, here's my takeaway, my biggest takeaway from that Lakers series. They lost because they were way too freaking small and because their supporting cast just wasn't good enough. Clay started forcing shots because his supporting cast wasn't good enough. They did not have one player other than Steph who could create a shot. And I'm not including Jordan Poole because he could create shots and he was going to miss them. He was so bad.
Yes.
He was so bad. But Jordan Poole has hope. Like, he was pretty good a year ago. Even in the playoffs a year ago, he was pretty good. And so Jordan Poole has hope. You got to hope with an offseason he comes back better. I just
Doesn't get punched in
believe
the
in
face.
Draymond. I believe in Clay. And I just think they need another wing, at least one more wing, probably 3 or 4 more wings. They were playing against the Lakers lineup that had Schroeder, Russell, and Reeves, and they were still tiny.
Mhm.
They were still tiny. Like, you just need more size. You need more athleticism. Just give Steph a chance. They could have won that series. They had, game 4, if Lonnie Walker doesn't go crazy, if they don't completely collapse down the stretch, they win that game. But there was just so much on Steph. They need to definitely upgrade on the wing. But I would run it back. I think those guys actually have enough left to compete for a championship again.
It's hard, man. I just think the money side of it, the second apron, to be able to add the depth you want to talk about. Like, I don't know if they're going to be able to do that with the new CBA and everything that comes into it. And I think that's the issue for them. And they've gotten older. Their defense has gotten weaker.
Well, also
But you can either go ahead.
I was going to say the only way you can add talent is by trading those guys.
Right.
You
And
can't
that's
just like replace their salary slots, right? Like it's
right. You can't listen. Draymond and Clay could both walk out the door, and I know Clay is still under contract, but that they're so far over the tax, it would just relieve their tax bill. It wouldn't make it. They wouldn't have more cap space all of a sudden because they're so far over with that stuff. And I think it's just easy for us to say, yeah, just add more talent, and yeah, the core is the core. It's just so goddamn hard to. And then the West. The West is pretty wild. Like, I feel like we're going to have even a deeper Western Conference next year. And I don't know if there's a guarantee to say that they're going to be able to keep up with that.
But Kuminga either has trade value because he's super intriguing, or he's going to be a player, And obviously,
Right,
Kerr didn't think he was ready this year, but
Jay, the issue
either
with
way,
that
that'd be a piece of the rotation.
they need him to be a player now, right? And maybe he could be. Like, he's apparently going to go do a tour of pickup games this summer, and like that's he's going to show what he can do, which is fine. But even if he gets traded, he has such a small salary number. Like, how much are you bringing back there, right? Like, again, there's
6.7 million.
Yeah, there's only, and okay, you attach him to something. I don't see a 1-for-1, 1-for-2, 2-for-1 scenario where unless you're moving that core all at once, that you just easily like go get another star to put next to Steph. Like, I just don't. I think they're kind of boned. Like, probably the best thing is to pay the money, bring everybody back, and hope that their defiance was correct, right? Like, hope that that's what it was. Like, where it's just like, yeah, they can do a lot better. This was just a bad title defense. Moving on to part 2 of our bubble remix. Denver versus LA. The Lakers, to their credit, man, they look like monsters defensively. I still think the offense is pretty weak, but like defensively, they look like monsters out there. That will be tested, right? Yes. Like that's going to be tested. And all this talk, AD defense this and AD defense that, it's been there, but they don't have the size they had the last time they played Denver in the playoffs in the bubble to contend with Jokic. Like, this is now like Anthony Davis has to guard him every possession. I guess they can dust off Mo Bamba if his ankle's okay, but like,
they have LeBron guard him?
No, you can't.
Not at this late in his career. I don't think you could.
Not consistent. Like, maybe a possession here, possession there, but not enough to like make it a strategy.
The only reason why I would suggest that is because they need Anthony Davis protecting the rim.
Agreed,
and if Anthony Davis is out guarding Jokic at the arc, then they're going to have Reeves, Schroeder, Russell on the back line. Like, I just don't think that's big enough. I think they might have to try LeBron at some point in this series, at least for a little while, to keep AD near the rim, to have him guard Aaron Gordon, to take away some of that stuff.
If you play zone like almost exclusively, then yeah, I mean maybe, but I think like, man, I don't get me wrong, LeBron's fucking strong. Like, LeBron is obviously like a physical beast, but Jokic just pushes monsters around like it's nothing. Like, Jokic just like bumps a guy and then they fall back. He shoves a guy, like they fall back on the post. Like, there's nothing physically. Like, I don't know how many people can physically do that. And I don't think LeBron will have leverage for being the low man and all that shit. Like, there's some science behind it, but for the most part, like, Jokic just moves people. He moves these big guys out of the way. I don't know if LeBron can physically hold up. And then on the other, like, is this foot okay? Is he trying to do that on one foot still? Like, I don't know what he would then be able to give on the other end of the floor. Maybe I'm doubting LeBron too much. I think that's asking way too much of a 38-year-old.
3 or 4 years ago, I think that'd be the right thing to do, Jay.
You could have done it in the bubble for sure. Yeah, I think in the bubble that could have been something. Yeah.
I don't know if LeBron can hold up and do that and then do what he has to do on the offensive end as well. And I think that's going to be one of those things, again, like we're talking about it with Jimmy Butler. I think that's a tough one to ask of LeBron to do. It's going to be a hard job for AD defensively this series. But if they're going to move on, he needs to be that guy that everybody tells us, all the Laker fans tell us, he's this guy and all that. He needs to be that guy, not for one game, not one good game, bad game, good game. He needs to be the whole fucking series, and that's going to be the deal for them.
Hey, in the words of the great Michael Jeffrey Jordan, it's easy to talk trash, man, when you leading.
Yeah.
But I want to hear the trash talk when it's 0-0.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? You know, Zach, I know you got this disdain for Aaron Gordon, but I think he gonna be good on LeBron, bro.
He better be.
I mean, he ain't got no choice.
It's not a disdain. It's an accurate representation of what he's been in this league. Like, he just hasn't been very good. He's been a good idea. Now, granted, this has been what he's played this year, this is the best he's ever played by far. Like, I just don't think he was good in Orlando. Like, I don't. Like, he wasn't a winning basketball player in Orlando. You put him around these guys, it looks a lot better. And the way he defended Kevin Durant was really good. If he could do that again against LeBron, like, yeah, like that's a dude who has learned how to play winning basketball, but he wasn't a winning player before this year, in my opinion. Like, he just wasn't.
Yeah.
He is
I mean,
now.
shoot, at this point, bro, anything can happen. Mark Jackson got an interview. So
JJ Redick got an interview.
I mean, come on.
we could talk about this all day.
Well, yeah, that's
I'm
a
just saying.
whole other show. I wonder if working for ESPN had anything to do. Well, we can get into that another time. That's a whole. Yeah, I'm sure there's. The news was broken. JJ Redick news was broken by ESPN. Nah, don't worry about it. We don't have to worry about that. That's a distraction. Yeah, look, man. I like, you're right. Anything can happen here. I do think, like, I think this Nuggets team is the better team.
Yeah.
I also, like, admittedly have been doubting the Lakers is like for months. Like,
I have to.
I
have to every step of the way.
And they're good. Like, they have become a good team. They were a bad team, but they became a good team. And, like, yeah, help, like, switching out half your rotation helps that. The way Austin Reeves has stepped up has been big.
You know, the funny thing is, Zach, about switching out half the rotation, Beasley doesn't play at all. Vanderbilt barely played in that series.
But that's a bad matchup for Vanderbilt.
No,
I think he plays a lot in this series. Yeah.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, they got here largely with just D'Angelo Russell kind of playing key role for them. Like, the one out of the three pieces they traded for were
even
huge,
he was not.
He had ups and downs, but
yeah,
but when he was on, it was just what they needed when they needed.
Yeah, but this was just AD and Austin Reeves went fucking nuts. Like, that's what that was.
The most fascinating part about the Lakers is they've turned a bunch of inconsistent players into a consistent supporting cast.
Yeah.
That's
a good way to put it.
Like you never know who's going to show up, but a couple of them always seem to. And Austin Reeves has been consistent. He's efficient. He can run their offense sometimes when LeBron needs a breather or just wants
he's
to
their third best player.
Side.
He's their third best player. I think
he is good, and I think he's going to test Jokic in like his ability to draw fouls, his ability to be shifty around the rim is going to be tough on Jokic sometimes. But, like, I'm just wildly impressed by the way Darvin Ham has pushed the right buttons to find the Lonnie Walker, to find the D'Angelo Russell sometimes. And it's like those guys, they've a bunch of them, Rui, I'll throw him in there too. They haven't been defensive-minded guys. This is a defensive-minded team that locks up. And they obviously do what they're supposed to do, funnel the ball to Anthony Davis, use his talents as well as possible. And this is just like, it's a really good team. I have slept on the Lakers because I have not loved a lot of the players that they've had in the past. But this team knows what it's doing and always gets something from that supporting cast.
Let me ask this. Is it because we did dismiss them, right? Sleep on them, whatever. Is it that? Or is it like, no, you have to keep proving it. Like, you don't just get to play well for a month and then it's like, oh yeah, they're good. Like, no, you have to, like, keep proving it. Like, don't get me wrong. We were wrong. Like, you and I were wrong. I mean, Mo, you were maybe more, you were higher.
No, I was wrong. I was wrong.
Okay.
I was wrong. I was wrong.
So, like, the three of us were wrong, but at the same time, like, they had nothing to make you believe that we wouldn't be right. You know, like, it's okay that, like, they evolved throughout the course of 2-3 months and became a team.
And they have proven it.
Yeah.
LeBron went out and they won a bunch of games in the regular season.
That's when, like, it started, like, getting like hold on a sec. Like, there might be something here.
They drew the Grizzlies, and obviously the Grizzlies have become a punchline. That's a talented team. That's a tough team to beat. And they controlled that whole series. They draw the Warriors, who obviously they weren't a great team either. Obviously they had roster holes. Obviously they weren't the same as their championship level squad last year. They controlled again that whole series, and by the end of it, it was clear that was a totally lopsided series. And I bowed down to Lakers, just like I bowed down to Heat culture last year. I bowed down to LeBron. I bowed down to Anthony Davis. I bowed down to Darvin Ham. And I bow down. Honestly, like,
I mean,
it's
Ham's
it's
a great
because
coach.
He's
done
great.
No,
great
no,
is
he's done a great job.
he's done a great job. Sorry.
Yeah.
Let me,
Yeah.
He's done a great job with
Yes.
this team. And I
Yeah.
think that's it's the pushing buttons. What Jay was saying about finding the right guy at the right moment, like some random.
I think look, there are a lot of good coaches were former role players, but I think that's the this dude was always a role player, and knowing what that takes to get the role players going, like I think that plays a massive role in that.
Yeah, and I just think overall with this team is they figured themselves out. Like, come on, like before the Russ trade, like they had no idea who the hell they were. And I feel like now they have a solid identity, and at least they have that going forward. And then they can just build upon that. And that's what they've done through the entire playoffs. And to your question, Zach, just kind of like, is it just play well for a month, or is this really good? I think this is a good team. I think if they had
because
it's
been like 3 months now, right?
Yeah, I think if they had it the whole season, this is a team that's probably like third or fourth in the West, like kind of standing sort of things in that scenario. So I feel like they know what they need to do, but this is Denver's a tough fucking assignment.
Yeah, that's gonna be a really good series. That's gonna be a really, really interesting series. All right, last thing we got here. Monty Williams fired. I think that was obvious. I'm actually just a little surprised that it's just Monty Williams. But I know they fired like some scouting people and like an executive, but I thought Ishbia was gonna clean house. I thought James Jones was going to be gone, and we'll see like what happens with this roster. But at least for now, Monty Williams is out. Look, Monty did a really good job there. He helped turn them into a winner for the first time since Steve Nash was there. Like this was a garbage organization for about a decade, and then Monty came in, and obviously like Chris Paul coming to the team helped reset the culture a lot anyway, and help them get to a winning style, but. Yeah, like part of me thinks Monty got a raw deal here. Part of me thinks like, he probably took them to about their limit. Like they made the finals once. They've flamed out spectacularly the last 2 years. Like maybe he is just the guy that gets them to a certain point, and then now it's on another coach to move forward. But let's say the rumors of Ty Lue happen. Jay, is that the guy to get the Suns over the top, or obviously they're gonna have to fill out this rotation more, but I mean, is it about the coach or is it about the personnel? Because we were counting on the campaign and Landry Shamet and Jock Landale and Terrence Ross to make big contributions here.
This year it was about the personnel. This year was definitely like their supporting cast just wasn't good enough. They did not have the continuity to deal with Denver. They'd never had enough options to stop that, and it would not have mattered. But a new owner comes in. A lot of the time, a new owner wants to hire somebody he's comfortable with, somebody that he wants to hire, and where Monty Williams, I don't want to say failed because he changed that culture, he changed that team, he instilled the
took
belief
them to the finals.
And made them winners and took them to the finals. But the DeAndre Ayton thing went totally sideways. And it was clear there was a huge divide between Ayton and the organization, Ayton and Monty Williams at times, and that never, ever got better. And the other piece, I mean, Jay Crowder did not end up helping the Milwaukee Bucks at all, but that's another guy who was in the starting lineup, a major part of who they were, and they as an organization could not connect with Jay Crowder, could not convince him to stay, could not convince him to take a smaller role. And so to me, that's where Monty Williams was not enough. And that's where Monty Williams let down the Suns in some way. And I think that's part of the reason why he lost his job. But he was great. And overall, like Monty Williams did an incredible job.
Yeah.
But when you lose two of the pieces in your rotation or lose the bond with two of the players in your rotation and it goes as publicly as it did, I think it's understandable why a new owner would come in and think, okay, there are other great options available right now, great coaches on the market right now who will be dying to coach Devin Booker and Kevin Durant.
Yeah. And it's a new owner. Like new owners do this shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like Monty Williams was great. Like I'm not I'm not saying he didn't do a great job. He turned around that franchise. The Suns were a joke until they went into the bubble with Monty Williams and went 8-0 and turned around everything. But I understand wanting a new voice when those things happened and there are such qualified candidates out there.
Yeah, I don't think – I mean, this isn't an indictment of his coaching job or his ability to coach. I think time just ran out on him in that place. Like, it was time for them to find a new voice with all that stuff. Kind of like, I need to fuck. The whole situation, though, I think is – I don't know if they can go get Ty Lue. Like, I think that's the big thing. Like, everybody's talking about, they'd be really interested in Ty Lue. That's going to probably require a trade. And they can't give up more assets to go get a coach when they need to actually, like, build a roster themselves. Yeah. Right. Yeah, I mean, they need to build the roster
What if they're
themselves.
like, hey, we'll give you Landry back?
Yeah, right. Clippers might actually take that. But I think when you say, like, what kind of coach, I don't even know what kind of coach they need at this point. Because they don't even have a roster. We just know they have 2 guys for sure. After that, who knows what this team's going to look like. NCP could be gone, whole deal. I mean, this is going to be an interesting one in terms of keeping an eye on them for the offseason. But as Jay said, like, Budenholzer, I don't like him, but Nick Nurse is going to get mentioned. Everybody's going to kind of be thrown around for this one. This is going to probably be the prize job right now that's open. And between that and Milwaukee, I think it'll be interesting to see where both those organizations land.
I wonder if Ime Udoka's sitting in Houston, like, what was I
doing?
Absolutely.
Why
did I go so early?
Oh, he's going to get James Harden, though. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, it just depends on who Isaiah Thomas wants to hire. Whoops. That's all the time we have for today, folks. Make sure you're checking us out on YouTube so you can see a shirtless Jay King. Make sure you are subscribed to The Bounce in NBA newsletter.
Is that really a good ad for YouTube?
Look, man, some people are into some weird shit on the internet. I don't know. What are you flexing right now? How did your muscles get smaller while you flexed? That's gonna make sure you subscribe to The Bounce. Make sure you check out all of Jay King's incredible coverage of the Celtics as they lose to the Miami Heat in the next round. For Jay King, for Trevon Edwards, for Mo Dakhil, I'm Zach Harper. Oh, don't forget Dave DeFore. This has been the Basketball's edition of the Athletic NBA Show podcast. Subscribe to The Athletic.